wherever you go, ask for radio, radio.
Yes.
Radio, when you're on the go and traveling, ask your host for a radio.
You want to know traffic, time, and news, talk, and entertaining music. When you're staying in a strange hotel, when you're far away from home and you feel so all alone, just ask the man for a radio. You want to know traffic, time, and news, talk, and entertaining music.
Radio.
When you're staying in a strange hotel, and then when you're far away from home and you feel all alone,
at a hotel, motel, tell 'em
I want a radio.
This is WFMU, and of course the big news this morning, I suppose, is from what I think I heard anyway, sometime as I was trying to go back to sleep earlier this morning, is that Olive Oyl had an abortion in the new comic strip version of Popeye. This is what I think I heard, and if you heard anything about it, I'd appreciate it if you let me know. Another case of a fictional character getting into hot water in the real world, along the lines of Murphy Brown. I heard that Olive Oyl actually went so far as to exercise her right to choose, and she had an abortion, and for that the strip is being dropped by King Features. And if any of you cartoonists out there have any more information, or other instances of fictional characters getting into hot water, let us know. I mean, I may have simply been imagining the whole thing, but I thought I heard that on National Public Radio this morning. And we have a couple of people who called up and filled us in on the true controversy surrounding the comic strip of Popeye. Apparently I was wrong. Olive Oyl did not have an abortion per se. She had a metaphorical abortion in a strip. I don't know when it ran, sometime recently. Somebody mailed Olive Oyl a Bluto doll, and she said in the strip that she was going to exercise her right to choice and mail it back. And for this, the cartoonist was fired. So it was only a metaphorical abortion, and the poor cartoonist got canned. So that's this morning's fictional character in hot water. Many more to come. And I think we have cartoonist Jim Ryan on the phone to tell us about more cartoon characters who've gotten themselves in hot water. Jim?
Yeah, hi, Ken.
Hi.
Well, I know that actually Charles Schulz, he in 1968, he wanted to introduce a black character named Franklin.
Oh, I remember Franklin.
Yeah. And
that's right.
And in the first episode, like he had Franklin coming home to supper with Charlie Brown, and the syndicate pitched a fit over it.
Wow.
You know, they didn't say, well, can you have him in the strip, but like not have him coming home to dinner with him? You know, possibly eating off the same dinnerware and stuff. But Schulz, to his credit, actually, he stuck to his guns, and Franklin was included in the strip.
Huh. But then he just faded away along with all the other Peanuts characters.
Yeah,
like
he faded.
Peppermint Patty and
Well, Peppermint Patty's still there, but like Violet and all these other characters you never see anymore.
Yeah.
Now it's become a 3-character strip.
Right. Remember the guy who smelled bad?
Oh, Pigpen.
Right, Pigpen. Yeah, you don't see him anymore.
No, you don't. He was a cool character, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. And let's see. Oh, recently, this wasn't a controversy thing, but you know that strip, what was it, Sally Forth?
Yeah.
Really awful strip, I think so. And the guy like drew with his foot basically. It's really terrible. And so he did what I consider a wise thing. Is he hired somebody who could draw the strip, and people got so indignant that like finally the strip was being drawn by somebody who could draw. And there were angry letters and phone calls and like just incredible kind of response based on them somebody finally drawing Sally Forth. And so finally he had to get the guy who he'd hired because he could draw. He finally had to get him to draw more like the way the original guy drew when he couldn't draw.
So he had to draw bad.
He had to draw a little bit worse, but a little bit better than the original guy, but still worse than he was capable of.
Yeah. Did any Doonesbury characters get in trouble? I mean, I know Gary Trudeau's gotten into trouble over things.
Oh, plenty of times.
But have his characters actually ever gotten into trouble?
Yeah. Like for instance, the first big one was when that a lot of newspapers refused to run was when forget what is the ex-priest guy's name who's now the reporter?
Oh, Father Sloan.
Yeah, he when he and Joni were in bed.
Oh, that's right.
That strip was pulled from a lot of newspapers.
Right.
And I imagine a lot of subsequently a bunch of other ones have been too.
Yeah.
But the thing is, basically, you have to remember that. Oh, I'll tell you one thing my syndicate didn't want me to have a character who smoked.
Right, you do a strip called Guy Stuff.
Right, and I had to lobby for that because this character,
They didn't want a smoker.
They didn't
in the comic strip.
No, they didn't, because they said that we get like we had a cartoon, some little gag cartoon that they syndicate out there. And it had a psychiatrist smoking a pipe, and they got angry letters over that.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So who could George Bush run against? Like if he was going to pick a cartoon strip character to run against, who would be a good one? I'm just not that up on strips anymore.
A good cartoon strip character to run against?
Yeah, for George Bush to resurrect his campaign.
Again? Oh, okay.
Like Dan Quayle's running. Pick Murphy Brown. To pick on? Are there any like
Oh,
really...
he could run against my guys.
Uh-huh.
They sort of represent everything.
Well, that would be good for you.
It would be good for me, and he should do it. No, let's see. Who else would he run against? Oh, heck, he could. Who's the closest to Murphy Brown? Kathy, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's a terrible strip.
Yeah, but she's. She at least doesn't support George Bush. That's the one good thing you can say about her.
Okay.
Actually certified not Republican. Anyway, so...
let me know if you think of any other fictional characters, and especially cartoon strip characters who got themselves into hot water.
All right.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. So that's what we're looking for in the wake of Olive Oil's metaphorical abortion, which got the cartoonist Bobby London fired. This is FMU, and coming up in about 10 or 15 minutes, we have another Japanese mystery religion for you, and some good tickets, actually, to give away this morning. In the meantime, this is Bill Harvey and his orchestra.
When I come home at night, she's around to hold me tight, hugging and kissing, nothing is missing. I'll never, ever let her leave me. Oh, without her, nothing would I be.
WFMU.
This morning's Mystery Religion is a syncretistic religious movement, so says the Dictionary of World Religions. I guess that means it draws on many other religions. It's especially influenced by Omoto, and it purports to teach the truth that is common to all religions, similar to, I don't know, Baha'i or Unitarianism. And the emphasis is on health, happiness, prosperity. What else? The flag. They're very big on the Japanese flag. They're very, very big on reducing the number of traffic accident deaths. It's kind of like a death on the highway religion. And they're heavily anti-abortion, and they're very into the flag, the Japanese anthem, and other symbols of Japan's life and purpose. And they do all this through the power of mind, freeing the mind of negativism. This morning's Mystery Religion had its official beginning in 1930 when its leader, a fellow named Taniguchi, began to publish a magazine bearing the name of the religion. The initial subscribers became the charter members of the new movement. It moved to Tokyo in 1934, and it's been there ever since. And the fundamental doctrine of this morning's Mystery Religion is that human beings are children of God, and therefore, sharing the perfection that characterizes all divine creation, are naturally happy and healthy. Sin and guilt are not real. It's not just that they're negative, they don't exist. They're products of your imagination, and you have to put them out of your mind. It's a misguided sense of the reality of sin and guilt and other negative thoughts that produce afflictions that are also not experienced and perceived as real, but are not real. Salvation comes from knowing that one is a child of God and that bad things do not exist. I could go on, but nobody's going to know anyway. It starts with an S, okay? And if you don't get this, tune in later this morning during lunchtime when we'll have our Lunchtime Vermin Review and more ticket giveaways then. In celebration of this morning's Mystery Religion, we're now going to hear the love song from the Return of Mothra.
我々の方法で怪物ゼロを追い払うことができました。
Well, we had a couple of lucky winners. Several people who all guessed Eskimo, which of course we always accept as a correct answer. Although the real correct answer is Seicho no Ie. Seicho no Ie, otherwise known as House of Growth. Isn't that a program on MTV? House of Growth. And one listener pointed out that the principle that pain and sin and guilt and remorse and anxiety attacks and cramps and nausea are not real and therefore must be ignored is very close to Christian Science theology. That's true. So remember that next time you get a cramp in the middle of the night. It's not real. And in the background, we're listening to live transcriptions, live recordings from Japanese Parliament. And he is saying that, I'm here to tell you that the Nikkei stock index is falling rapidly. Although it doesn't matter because we will bring down the entire global economy with us. And then, of course, the announcer is simply recapping. We still have an enormous adult female Dobson fly found by listener Larry in Adirondack Park to give away later this morning, as well as the lunchtime vermin patrol. So stay tuned for all that, and we're going to listen to more from the Japanese diet.
Give yourself up to the fun and pleasure of lovemaking. The Bible says in the Song of Songs that sex is to be enjoyed, being God created, God ordained, and God blessed. And indeed it is. A pet, don't be timid. Take the initiative. And if you desire him, approach Jim sexually. Be seductive, even though you know each other intimately. A man loves it. An instinctive caress feels great. A massage feels particularly good and relaxing when you're tired and can often lead to a spontaneous interlude. Take a shower together. Wrestle and play. Taste the zest of life without restraint. Be honest as to what you want and share that honesty with the person you love. You'll find that the greatest joy you'll receive in life will be through the happiness and pleasure you give each other.
I guess like everyone else, I'd like to have the maximum enjoyment out of sex.
Me too. Well, sex is fun, particularly when you're in love. In the morning, in the afternoon, as well as at night. And lovemaking is one of the few things that intensely touches all of our senses. Your body becomes a functional tool for sexual expression, for fulfilling physical and emotional satisfaction.
You know, Doctor, there have been times when I've held back my orgasm, while Pat had several climaxes in succession, whereas I have to rest before I'm able to perform again. Why is that?
Well, in a sense, like the ebb and flow of a tide. The woman's genitalia can rapidly re-engorge in response to continued stimulation and have successive climaxes, many times. She can, of course, also be re-aroused after resting for a while. Whereas, in a male, once he has reached a climax and his erection has subsided, he becomes refractory to any amount of stimulation. No encouragement can arouse him during this time of rest and recovery, which lasts anywhere from 5 minutes to an hour, but usually 20 to 30 minutes. After recovery, if the desire is awake, the penis becomes erect and he is
cover-up of the murder of John Kennedy. It opened up the whole nest of Reinhard Galen's agents that Ellsworth were there.
This is the sound of change on WFMU. Not a moment ago, we were listening to a standard radio emission, and now it's a top of the hour legal station identification. Why the change? Because it's what the American people want. And when the American people speak, WFMU listens. Because WFMU is America. And American people want more top-of-the-hour legal station identifications. So for a change, tune us in. We are America. We may not rule the world anymore, but we can still identify our own radio stations. Need proof? Try this. This is WFMU, Uppsala College, East Orange. The station for change.
WFMU Uppsala College, East Orange, New Jersey, the accident of the airwaves. And as promised now, it's time for the Lunchtime Vermin Patrol. We're referring now to the FDA Technical Bulletin Number 1, Principles of Food Analysis for Filth, Decomposition, and Foreign Matter, the government's guidelines on how much filth and foreign matter is acceptable by law in various food products. So the question here is, how many fruit fly eggs are acceptable in a 32-ounce can of tomato juice? Keep in mind that a fruit fly is a very, very small creature. And while we're on the topic of tomato juice, how many maggots would be acceptable according to the Food and Drug Administration in the same 32-ounce can of tomato juice? And for those of you playing along at home, remember that aphids, thrips, and mites do not pass as fruit flies. In the meantime, And answer to contest question, 17 fruit flies permissible in a 32-ounce can of tomato juice. That's by the Food and Drug Administration's own standards. Or 1.5 maggots, but not both. You have to choose between either 17 fruit fly eggs or 1.5 maggots. And congratulations to listener Meg, who came damn close to our government's guidelines on filth, decomposition, and foreign matter in food products. You can't keep a good tire down in a landfill. Obviously, a lot of car and truck tires get thrown into landfills. This is the most amazing thing I've heard in a long time, is that tires will always rise to the top of a landfill. Over the decades, they actually pop right out the top. They literally rise up within the solid mass of garbage, and they pop out through the top, and they have to be taken away to like a separate tire landfill. And they don't know exactly why it happens, but they think it's probably because a complete tire has a lot of air mass within it, and the garbage doesn't really make it into that air mass, and as more trucks come on top of the landfill and people dance and party on top of the landfill, garbage gets pushed down. And because there's this air mass within the tire, the garbage settles towards the bottom of the tire, freeing up space at the top. And gradually, although not so gradually that they don't literally pop out the top, the tires rise to the surface of the landfill. Erwin, do you have anything to add?
Ken, you were talking about the tires before.
Right.
How they rise to the surface of a landfill.
Right, you can't keep a good tire down.
And you mentioned that these tires have to be taken away to another landfill, a tire landfill.
Right.
Well, in that tire landfill, is there sort of like an evolutionary gradual leapfrogging of tires to the top, and do they all sort of eventually escalate to heaven?
No, because there's no munching and chomping on the tire landfill. Everybody in the tire landfill is perfectly happy. And there's nothing to fill in underneath a tire in a tire landfill.
But among the tires, how do they decide among themselves which will be the top tire? They don't fight to get to the top? They just sit there and say, oh, it's a bunch of tires on top of me, it's okay.
It's just seniority. It takes care of itself. So I mean, you intellectuals, can try to project all these kind of human attributes onto tires, but when you're there, Erwin, everything comes quite naturally. I have one thing to say to you. As Keanu Reeves said to Patrick Swayze in that fine gem of American cinema, Point Break, vaya con Dios, dude.